Hello, welcome Raveena.
Thank you,
Welcome to
Madhulika.
our talk
How are
show.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good, good. Good morning to you.
Oh, good evening to you, ma'am. Raveena here is in San Diego, and I am in Jaipur, and we have coordinated somehow to have this conversation. So, Raveena, today we've thought about a lot and finally came up with the topic of to talk about marriage, debunking myths of
Yeah,
marriage. That's what we are talking about here. But before
favorite
starting
subject.
anything, but it's our favorite subject. We talk about it all the time, and we are friends for like a very, very long time. And
Yeah.
lately, we've been talking about relationships so much that it's coming on her social media. So, what do you think? Esa, what are the general view about relationships going on right now?
Uh, for me personally, relationships has a lot of length and breadth to it. Typically, it is perceived as, oh, hey, your relationship with your spouse, with your own sibling, or with your own parent. But I feel relationships has such a depth meaning to it that it's surrounded by your overall functioning. You start your day, your relationship with your own work starts. You
Hmm.
end your day, your relationship with your partner is there. And most importantly, your relationship with your phone or your device these days, right? For that matter. So, in my view, relationship has a lot of length and breadth to it. What I am seeing for myself these days, ever since I moved to the US, and this major shift in my life happened, is this that relationship has a very big tangent to individuality. That how do you take yourself on that journey, and your partner is along with that. So one of the greatest things that I found, and I keep discussing it with you, is this thing that the best and the most meaningful relationship that you have is within you. And as much as cliche or as much as bookish it may sound, but in all honesty, relationship within yourself is one of the greatest things that I'm experiencing right now. And I was this person for several years who termed this relationship in the form of loneliness, that hey, I'm lonely in a different country,
Hmm.
or hey, I'm lonely in an environment, or I don't have enough people calling me. So I used to run these scenarios in my head, but not being able to embrace that, what does it give me at the end of the day? So relationship, how you term it, how you perceive it, is very individualistic in my view. And of course, there are stories written all over the world about it, that what relationship means, but I think it's truly a relationship within yourself, and how do you take people along with you on that journey, Madhulika?
That is so true. That is so true, Raveena. And you've actually very concisely summarized the definition of a relationship from where it starts. It's not two people. It starts from
Yeah.
one, what relationship you have with your own self.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I think,
Which brings me to a good question, that I've known you, and viewers who are watching this may also have known this about your personal life, that you're a mother of a 3-year-old daughter, right? So
hmm,
the relationship of a child and a mother is often talked about, even in our Vedas, in our history and mythology, it is told about, right?
hmm.
But there's one thing on your bio which says this, that on a spiritual connection with my own son. How do you feel telling this about your telling about the spiritual connection with your own son to people? Do you think you've been asked questions about it, Madhulika?
And see, as far as my relationship with my son is concerned, it's just as normal as what people would perceive. But yes, I have never really come out in public and told about my connection, the deeper connection that we have. But I think every mother has it. It's just that we do not experience it. A lot of them don't experience it. I have done it because of being in the field of energy, and you can actually feel things. And also,
Yeah,
it's not just हवा में कुछ भी बात कर रहे हैं, but actually seen it through happening. Well, I just give you an example about it. Like if something is going in my head, uh,
yeah,
see if I'm fighting with my husband in my head. Okay.
yeah,
It used to happen pretty often that, suddenly he would get fever or his
yeah,
throat would go bad, and we would be all puzzled कि क्या हो गया.
Yeah,
But
of course.
the minute I used to solve that
Settle
thing,
down.
settle down, get clarity, it used to just go away. And it not just happened once, it happened lot many times, a
Yeah,
lot of times. So
of course.
I somehow try to manage that. I try myself to get some clarity before anything happens. I don't want to
Yeah.
disturb his energy with mine.
Yeah,
Your child is very close to the mother.
of course.
It's not just the cord which connects them, you know. It's very, very deep, I think. And I'm not sure which depth I've gone to, but at least maybe I think I'm on the surface or somewhere which I'm trying to understand what kind of a connection we have.
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely. Very enlightening. He's the light in my life, I think.
Yeah, I've read it in your post, and I also do vividly follow the post that you do about with relationship with your own son, and I feel like this that I'm yet to be a mother and embrace that phase in my life, but
Mhm.
but I see that connection of you and your child with so much of maturity, so much of just freeness that you give to him, that hey, do whatever that you want. And this is obviously one of the things that we would want our children to give, but we just apply that control, right? Relationships and control go hand in hand,
Also,
right?
yes.
Yeah, so in my view, we trying to apply that in every sphere, and then to see you not being able to apply that control in with your child is, I think, tremendous amount of progress, Madhulika.
Thank you. Ram is a person उसके बारे में हम कितना भी बात कर सकते हैं, will be कम. And
Yeah,
parenting is itself a very
bigger
vast
subject.
topic. Ha, and a
Yeah,
concept where everyone has a different point of view. And
yeah, nothing is right, nothing is wrong.
I think that applies everywhere, I guess. Nothing is wrong.
Yeah, there's no one size fit sort of definition to relationship or how do you perceive it. I think there's a beautiful thing that I learned when I was in college, and that was in fact the topic of the GD discussion when I was interviewing for this company that I work for now. It was the topic was a closed mouth doesn't catches flies, which is prevention is better than cure.
Hmm.
And for all my life, my parents kept telling me, we are more elder, we have learned more in life, we are telling you based on our experience. And I used to feel like this, that your experience and my experience don't have the same situations or don't circumstances, right? For that matter. And it was very difficult for me to come out of that belief system that, hey, prevention is better than cure for that matter. So I think relationships do not have one size fit ideology, a practice that is spoken on internet, on an advice that you can give to even your partner. It's more of your own independent journey that you have. Of course, people now can take the advantage of coming on your podcast and talk about it, but at the same time,
Welcome.
it's more of your own experience that relationships are all about, Madhurika.
Coming back to relationships and marriages.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
We always talk and digress from the topic. You have been married for over, I think, 3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
3 years,
Yeah.
3 blissful years.
What is your perception about marriage? Because it keeps on changing, it has changed. And we all know that. But how is it for you?
Marriage is a very personal experience. The reason why I would say personal experience, because I had the beautiful blessing, you can call it, or my luck or my fate, or I had invited that person in my life whom I knew way before I got into this relationship. So I knew a lot of aspects that I was um, getting to know about my partner, but at the same time experience a completely different world after I got married. For me, marriage has been a lot of growth in terms of knowing what is it like to have that partnership with somebody. I was told for a lot of years by my friends that marriage is 50-50. Marriage is all about working in compromises. The word compromise held so long in my belief system that I could not figure it out what compromise is. Adjustments, for that matter, sacrifices, all these words that I heard about marriage before I got married.
Hmm.
But when I got married, it felt like almost that it's never going to be 50-50 at all. You would expect your partner to have that partnership with you, but it's going to be either sometimes 60-40 or 90-10. You would come back home and you would want your partner to do this and that for you, but some days he would want you to do that. And there's one thing that I've learned about marriage, which is the key that has worked for me, is this thing: the moment you'll resent anything about your partner, that's when all the problems come. Hey, you didn't do that. Hey, you are the one giving me all the pains. You didn't make me happy, or you didn't make this particular effort for me, right? So there are two things that I've learned, which are the greatest mix, that myths in this marriage world, that it's a 50-50 partnership. It's never going to be 50-50. And the second one is this thing that no matter how many times you can have the best of third people invading and giving you the piece of advice, or you following a counselor or a therapist or anybody in this world, the moment you will stop resenting your partner, you'll see them in a different light. I think these two things on top of my head come, that I have learned out of my marriage, and that automatically applies to my personal growth, right? So when I look at my 3-year journey, these two aspects have given me the opportunity to grow. This means that no more I want to invest my time in,
Hmm.
hey, my partner didn't do this for me, or hey, my partner is not owning up to his responsibility. So I feel like this, that that has given me the chance to grow in my life, instead of making us grow together. Madhulika.
That is so mature, Raveena, to handle your relationship like that. And I'm sure you know this, that, you said that resentment, the minute you start resenting someone or your partner,
Yeah.
things go down the drain. And
Yeah.
resentment comes only when when you have a lot of expectations.
Yeah.
And all these expectations also come from when you're comparing yourself with other couples,
Couples online.
social
Yeah.
media, especially social media,
Yeah.
online or offline, anytime, but you're
Of
just
course.
comparing all the time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
people don't realize that each relationship is very different and very special. Each person is unique. So why not a relationship?
Yeah.
You got to work out your own set of structure, uh,
Hmm.
as to how to manage your fights, how to manage your household, both,
Yeah.
both are working, what kind of dynamics work in the house.
Yeah.
Lots of things
Yeah.
are at play. So, and then people, whether they have children or not, different things affect the relationship. And
Yeah.
you as a person have been, you know, a person with the dedication towards the relationship. You're not here to hit escape button.
Yeah, I'll let it give you that any marriage goes through that rosy phase, then gets into the reality phase, and then gets into that phase wherein you feel, oh my God, what happened? And that happens in different stages. I also went through that stage, but one thing that my husband told me so beautifully, that stays with me, that in this moment I'm mad at you, but doesn't mean I don't love you. I would want to fight with you. I would want you to get out of the house. I would don't want to look at your face, but doesn't mean that my feelings change. So at the core level, I'm still that person, but doesn't mean anything changes for me, right? So at the same time, you feel like this, that one moment, one fight, one anger is not going to define your relationship. And when I look at that lens, now when I have come this far, I feel that made me a person who's far more secure in my own eyes. Otherwise, I was this insecure person who would get probably blindsided by that. Oh my God, he said these words to me, he triggered me, or he said these words to me in his anger, he says all these things to me when he's really angry. So all of those things which cause those bitter moments are not the ones that define you. I mean, there was a beautiful reading that I read in one of the books, that it's almost in every relationship applicable, that between you and your partner, it's always you and your partner against the problem and not the other way around. And I felt, what rubbish is this at the end of the day? I never felt it resonated to me, because when you're fighting with somebody, you're not fighting with them, right? There's a difference in that.
Yeah.
So, in my view, those small adjustments to my life made that possible. And I never knew that, imbibing these right dictionary words make that so much of possible potentials coming onto that table, Madhulika. And that brings me to a to good question that I can ask you in this moment, that you have seen relationships growing in your personal life, in your professional life, in your outside life so much. How do you think relationships definition has matured from when we were in school to when we were in college to when we got married to now we are mothers, right? There has been a trajectory of what, a decade long experience that you've had in this field, right?
Hmm.
So how do you think that has shaped and that brings in maturity in the outside world, Madhulika?
Okay. First, Raveena, I just want to say that you have given such a beautiful advice about how to, evolve yourself in a relationship and understand
Yeah,
it's not you're on the same team. You're not
yeah,
playing against each other
yeah,
in a marriage. Otherwise, then if you're playing, wahi hoga ki I'm winning and you're losing. Either one
yeah,
is
yeah,
losing or winning. Yeah.
yeah,
Also, I would like to compliment your husband for saying such a beautiful line during a fight.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because it's very hard to say something like that when something is happening.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And that comes from that school of such calmness and probably that maturity that he already had in himself, And then, um, and that's one of the reasons that I've never felt insecure about this side of my relationship, that, hey, we're fighting right now, but in next few minutes, we will not call it quits. In next few minutes, we would work on it, improve better, not bring it up the next time. And I think in my view, I've heard so many times my friends talking, my relationships, I've seen my own parents doing this all over and again, is to bring up past fights into the future fights, right?
Yeah.
We've heard this concept so much. And what and what now amazes me is this thing, that if you have so much of baggage, why do you want to carry it to your future fights, right? There is enough baggage as it is that we have, right?
Yeah.
So and fights are kind of momentarily, if you see technically, they just happen in the moment and then you move on. So
Yeah.
again, it doesn't define a relationship at a peripheral view, in my understanding. And the moment you will see this for yourself, you'll start looking your relationship from the lens of how it gives you personal growth, and not as, oh my god, I need to do these many sacrifices to be the ideal partner. Oh my god, I need to do this much to have his happiness, right? so
Yeah.
so that burden doesn't come to you naturally. You tend to take that burden with you instead of taking it on you, right? And
Hmm.
I'm saying the same thing but in a different meaning. That's it,
Hmm.
Madhulika.
Uh, the question you'd asked me earlier, Raveena,
Yeah,
is I think how definition of relationship has changed over the decade.
yeah, past decade, in your own personal and professional outlook, right? You've been a daughter, then you were became a wife, now you're a mother, you're
Hmm.
also a daughter-in-law, you've changed your professions, now you're professionally looking into being a relationship coach, right? Now you have many people in your environment who talk about this topic. Previously it was you, your circle. How do you think that has given you the maturity into dealing with this subject?
So as a to be very honest, when we were kids, we had no idea as to what's going on and how we're supposed to be and what is happening around us. Like I guess
Yeah,
being a daughter, I was more concerned about getting married to my boyfriend instead of thinking about anything
yeah,
else. And I think that was another phase of my life. We've been in a relationship for almost 17 years. It's a very, very long time. Nine
yeah,
years of dating and almost 8 years of marriage now. And it's very long. And I must say this that it's not easy. It has
of course.
never been easy. Never. Whether
Hmm.
you're dating or getting married or after marriage, it's not easy to see whenever you have two humans living together, you will have clashes. Definitely.
every day.
Ashes.
Yeah.
Each person has their own individuality coming in. And
Yeah.
unless you respect that space and understand that space about each other,
Yeah.
you won't settle for you, or you won't have a good relationship. I've seen people in love marriages getting divorced and separated in quite quickly after their marriage. So for me, relationship is a bond where you have to give and not expect anything from other people. Like,
Yeah. Rightly
you do
said.
what you do, what you think. You cannot
Yeah.
ask the other person to do something for you in the
Yeah.
manner you want,
Yeah.
because they are them. I mean, they have their own way of being, own way of handling things. Whether it's my father, or whether my father-in-law, each person, you have to respect, at least respect that space, relationship that we have. It's a very weird kind of a thing, because as parents, they feel they're doing something, they're doing the best for you, as you said before, that belief system, that's just parenting. but
Yeah.
but for us, something better is there. So for me,
Yeah.
my parents, my father was not so convinced for me to change my career,
Profession.
profession.
Yeah.
He was like, you've studied law for so many years and now you want to change your career?
Yeah.
Are you serious? He was not convinced
Correct.
with anything. And slowly and steadily, I had to really make him understand. And I didn't fight with him. That was the first time
Yeah.
I did not fight with him.
You
Otherwise,
didn't
I
resent. Yeah.
resent, yeah. Fight with him in my head. I mean, that's what happens. I mean, all the
Yeah.
time, as a child also, whenever you were said no to something, you would always have a grudge against your father or anyone, your mother. They don't
Hmm.
let me do this, they don't let me do that. The minute you stop forcing or fighting that thought,
Yeah.
I have recently realized that, things just fall in place, because all your focus and all your energy is on what you want to do, rather than trying to make other people happy for what you are
Yeah.
doing. So I think a lot of times we are always reacting to things because what others want us to do, or what you want
Yeah.
them to think about you. This is the basic thing. I mean, all the time that's happening. This is
Yeah.
even in my in-laws' house. My in-laws probably don't know what exactly I do, but they're there. Like, okay, fine, whatever you're doing, do whatever you want to. That's the space I have here. I'm really glad
Yeah.
that I'm here. I mean, in this house, in their home.
Yeah.
एंड ठीक है, तो जिसको जब समझना होगा वो समझ जाएगा. So this
Yeah.
is
It's
my
their journey.
philosophy now. It has changed from what people used to think to what I want now. Instead,
Yeah.
I'm not here to get their validation or their approval that this is what I'm doing and this is right for me.
Yeah. The moment you seek out, that's when you lose your own chances of having to decide for yourself, right?
Hmm.
So the word permission or approval is definitely not in dictionary of a lot of women in today's time. I don't think so. So I rightly said that you have the right space in your house to do what you want, and I'm sure it was not something that you got in plate full of flatter that hey Madhulika, you get this in return. You had your own
And
way to also reach that
that's
level,
true.
right?
No, that's true. That's true. It's not that easy. It has not been that easy, but I think my husband
Yeah.
there has been there to support that structure. And
Yeah.
he
Of
wasn't
course.
there, I wouldn't be here, either in my head or literally. So because there's no rosy picture to anything, as what
Yeah.
we see in movies. Recently, I was just thinking about the fact that we've been deeply influenced
Influenced.
by such love stories in our heads from our
Yeah.
childhood, that for us relationship का मतलब बहुत अलग है. था
Yeah.
मतलब था, like we had to overcome it now, like at least you and I.
Yeah.
that you that I know of. But for us, love, relationship is all related to happiness. खुश होना चाहिए, खुश रहना चाहिए, खुश 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 खुश.
I don't know. This is, and that brings me to a question that anybody wishes you, hi, happy birthday, have a good day. They all say the same thing to us. You know,
Yeah.
wish you a very happy married life, wish you a very happy birthday, or wish you a very, let me put it this way, happy day for that matter, right? They talk about happiness in such a big question that it almost feels like this, that are you giving me happiness or are you wanting me to achieve it so that I don't achieve anything else? I mean, a bigger question to it, right? uh, uh, it is such a big underrated part of our lives that we wish for each other but we also receive. But are we happy just being happy is my question. I don't know if I'll be only happy just being happy for the whole day, but for a consistent time period, I would want to have that sort of, normalcy in my life, that, hey, I have ups and downs, lows and highs for that matter. And I'm not saying this because I am talking about happiness just from this lens of being happy, but I'm talking about that, is happiness the only question that we are chasing in life at the end of the day, right? And happiness is a bigger question to it, that we want that in our relationships because we want it the way we want to receive it. And this is why relationships have such a big void, right? We want things to be driven our way. We want our
Expectations.
partner to love our way. And I'm not saying that's wrong, but what I'm trying to say is your partner understanding what's your love language. So there are multiple layers to it, and
I'll start with only simple
relationships
things
is
that
a
just
is a
happen.
twisted, tricky, and yet a beautiful topic.
Yeah, it is.
Sorry.
It's a very interesting topic, Raveena. I mean, it's like, a lot of layers to it. So let's
Yeah.
uncover the first layer, which is easier to understand. See, happiness and happiness and happiness. Like, this is created nowadays. It's like a bubble which is about to burst for me. On
Yeah.
social media, everyone is just talking about how to stay positive. Happiness and
Yeah.
happiness and happiness.
Affirmations.
Affirmations and do this. Happy birthday, as you said. सब कोई happy wish करते हैं. कोई भी sad नहीं wish कर रहा. Of course, I get that. It sounds weird. But on the other hand, if you understand, I'm sure you must have heard about yin and yang.
Yeah. The concept of yin and yang.
Yeah,
Yes.
yin and yang. Is it apart? It's together, right?
Coexist.
It coexists together.
Hmm.
So all emotions also coexist together.
Coexist. Yeah.
For yin and yang, if you think there is darkness, there is light as well. So if you're wishing
Yeah.
someone happiness, you're also wishing them sad. I have
Yeah.
stopped using that word happy to wish anyone happy birthday. I don't wish them. I
Yeah.
have an amazing birthday. I mean, instead, so that they don't feel कि यार ये तो happy, amazing कुछ भी नहीं बोला birthday लिख दिया बस या wish भी नहीं. But the concept about energy is that both are together. So happiness, 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 happiness यार कैसे रह सकती है? It's not natural, it's not human. And
Yeah.
I've been reading in texts, some spiritual texts, where we understand that human mind has so many emotions, and you just have you ever been happy for the whole day?
No.
Never. Never.
No.
I mean, it's
No.
never been like that.
Yeah.
हाँ, मैं आज सुबह बहुत खुश थी, लेकिन मैं सोचती हूँ हाँ आज तो बहुत खुश हूँ, मैं खुश हूँ खुश हूँ, और शाम को आके रो दिए. ये कॉन्सेप्ट मुझे स्कूल में समझ आया. किसी ने बोला था,
Yeah.
कोई आई थिंक दादी थी या कोई थी जिन्होंने मुझे बोला था, अरे बहुत ज्यादा हंस मत, रो भी देगी तू. तो मैंने कहा क्या बोल रही है ये, ऐसे कोई बोलता है क्या?
Yeah.
बट आई अंडरस्टूड इट मच लेटर, वेयर इन गीता में लिखा है, कृष्णा ने उन्होंने बोला कि इमोशंस क्या है कि आते जाते रहते, इमोशंस कीप
Yeah.
कमिंग एंड गोइंग, it will never stay forever, never stay forever. Like
Yeah.
sometimes we have a habit of thinking too much. If we are sad, we get angry, we get sad, and we want to stay like that for some time, but that doesn't stay forever. You will come back,
Yeah. And
always come back.
The analogy that I have with emotions is this. Now that you brought up a brilliant point to it, the analogy is like this, that we are a pendulum shifting from here and there, the light and darkness, happiness and sadness, highs and lows, ups and downs. The pendulum will shift to the one corner, but will come to the other corner, but will also stabilize you in middle, right? There
Hmm.
are days that one would not feel anything. There are days and moments where you don't know how do you feel, and that's where a lot of people who are probably introverts in this world or don't feel the need to express, they have an answer to everything. I don't know. So that's just how I see emotions being defined and driven in today's time, Madhulika. It's like a pendulum. You keep moving from one shift to another.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, my husband recently said that he was just saying something to my sister, and he said, you know, uh, 365 days of the year, only 65 days you'll be happy. You
Yeah,
can't stay happy forever. I was like,
of course.
wow, such an amazing line you said.
Yeah. He's quantified it also, right?
Yeah,
So
quantified it for us
yeah.
very
Yeah.
nicely.
Yeah.
So,
Our husbands definitely are giving us a lot of wisdom.
definitely. I mean, if they weren't here in my life, he wasn't here in my life, I wouldn't be I wouldn't be here where I am today. I think
Yeah.
he's been pushing me out of my comfort zone, always
Yeah. I
giving me
know.
certain situations to, deal with.
Yeah. Of course. That's why I feel like that, you and I, or at least I can vouch for myself that I got married to my husband for my personal growth journey. So he's definitely the push factor to that.
Raveena, any advice that you would like to give us
On
on how to
advice on
handle fights?
how to handle fights. Good example. Good. If I am somebody who's fighting in this moment, I would forget even my own advice because I would be so vested into fighting with my husband. I would not apply any advice that I would have.
Hmm.
Or even from my own experience, what I've learned through my own spiritual journey or what I've heard, everything would go down the drain, but I would be busy fighting with my husband in all realities. And for people who are watching this would do exactly the same thing, that they would be busy fighting.
Yeah,
You did this, you did that. But there's one thing that I've learned, that fights can not spiral for you, not for your partner or for your relationship, is to take a pause and stop reacting.
hmm,
And that you do for yourself. You step away. And the moment you take one step away, that's when you realize that, hey, I don't need this drama in this moment. I can come back, create that drama in the same situation, but in a better way. And I have seen that in my fight, the moment I wanted less drama for myself, I stopped reacting in that moment. And as many things that I've done in my past life, I've had terrible amount of fights with my husband, with my own mother, brother. And I can say this, the days that I've practiced reaction being the not reaction out of the window are the fights that I've had has been my best learning. So for somebody fighting, keep fighting. Fighting will push your relationship to the next level. But sometimes take a pause, don't react, and then find a moment to confront your husband or to your partner or to anyone that you're fighting for. And in my view, I fight every day with the colleagues I work with. He
hmm.
said this to me, or she said this to me. And that's what has helped me so much in my own professional life, that it's good for you to respond rather than reacting.
That's beautiful. Hmm. Wonderfully said.
Uh,
That's I think, the key to handling any situation. Take a pause.
yeah. Take a pause for yourself. And I would emphasize this, that not for your relationship, not for your partner, because in that moment you're fighting for yourself. You're not fighting for your relationship. You're fighting for your own dignity, for your own truth, for your own honesty, and you're not doing it for anyone else. So get your own peace of mind, take a pause, and don't react.
Wow, brilliant, amazing. Such great advice. Thank you, Raveena. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madhulika.
Thank you for coming
Yeah,
and sharing your thoughts and your
yeah.
personal life with us.
There's one thing that I want to share with the people who are watching this video in the future is this, that don't limit your relationships to just one piece of advice or to one formula. Treat your relationship as new as it is every day. You're evolving, your partner is evolving, and at the end of the day, your relationship is evolving. So treat this as a new day for yourself. And I hope that relationship in an actual word gains that sort of momentum as we move along. So thank you so much, Madhulika, for having me.